Company, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Kudus Omachreme, has declared war on illegal logging of timber in the country's forests. The move, according to him, is to help regulate activities of lumber companies and also protect the forest, particularly trees that are categorized as endangered species. Mr. Omachreme said this when he visited the Kumsimwa Bepo Shelter Belt Forest Reserve in a small community of Boko at New Edubiase in the Ashanti region. Let's hear first from the minister, and then we'll get on to our lines and get a live update from my colleague Latif Idris.
It has in fact informed me about the conduct of some of our timber merchants who take the law into their own hands, enter our various forests to fell the lumber without any documentation. There is the need to preserve our forests. The people of this area have done very well. They have partnered the Forestry Commission to maintain this forest. You can see that this is natural forest, not artificial one. Artificial one, some of them we can even drive our cars through. But this, you have to walk, meander yourself through to get a space. The ecology over here is very good, and we applaud the Forestry Commission that if they could do this at all other places where we have forests, to maintain and to preserve them, it will help a lot. The timber that they are salvaging now by way of tinning in the sense that those that have grown are being harvested by way of dealing with independent compartments of the forest. No license, no harvest.
So my colleague Latif Idris is on tour with the minister, and he joins us from the premises of Anglo Gold Ashanti. Hello, Latif. We've heard the minister tell us why.
Hello,
great to have you. We've had the minister tell us why they're going on this campaign, but how are they going to go about it?
So Bernice, one of the ways in which the minister stated his outfit is going to deal with illegal logging within the forest has to do with the digitization of, first of all, how these vehicles and the lumbers get into the forest to fell the trees, so that every single tree has been computerized, if you like. A system has been created within the Forestry Commission, which allows them to take stock of every single tree within the belt that have been created across the country, so that even before it is felled, it is registered within the system at the Forestry Commission, which, according to the minister, will make it even more difficult for illegal lumbers to undertake their criminal activities, which the minister, as you played in the soundbite, has declared war on across the country. Bernice.
All right, you're currently at Anglo Gold Ashanti, still with the minister. Kindly explain to us what's happening there.
Yeah, so today is one of the historic days for the people of Obuasi. Today, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is going to launch the Obuasi Mine Redevelopment Project here at the Cricket Park, within the premises of the Anglo Gold Ashanti. You know, Anglo Gold Ashanti was closed down about 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And so after talks and consultation and groundwork, today, the President of the Republic, we also must mention that during the electioneering years, it was one of the key points that the then candidate Akufo-Addo put out there, that if elected as president, he is going to ensure that Anglo Gold Ashanti, take back its former glory days. And that is exactly what he is going to do today with the launch of the Obuasi Mine Redevelopment Project here at the Cricket Park. Already we have, dozens, hundreds of people trooping in here at the Cricket Park. We also have in attendance the king of the Ashanti Kingdom, Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, and his other supporting chiefs, who are already, some of whom are already seated actually here at the Cricket Park within the premises of the Anglo Gold Ashanti, awaiting the arrival of the Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, and then the President of the Republic to undertake this very important exercise here at the cricket park. So what this means is that jobs for the people within the Obuasi enclave who, I must say, qualify for the positions that will be available here at Anglo Gold Ashanti Fest, and also business activities, as we know, with the number of stories we've done during the ban on small-scale mining and also the closure of Anglo Gold Ashanti. Now that it's going to be opening again, you expect the economic, fiber of the Obuasi community and the Ashanti region, by extension, to regain its former glory days, if you like, Benny. So today marks one of the historic days for the people of Obuasi and, by extension, the Ashanti region. We are still waiting for the arrival of the president and the king of the Ashanti Kingdom, Otumfuo Osei Tutu II.
Finally and briefly, Lateef, tell us where the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Kweku Asomachremi, who you're on tour with, is likely to head next.
So, before heading to the cricket park for this very important exercise, he visited one of the chiefs within the Adanse community. And maybe this is a breaking story that you're going to hear it right here on Joy News First, that we visited one of the health facilities, the construction of which started under the administration of former President John Dramani Mahama. We have only 4% of work to be done for the completion of the facility. But since the assumption of office of this current administration, some way, somehow, that facility, that project has been abandoned. And so the minister, the lands minister, who I might say this facility doesn't fall within his jurisdiction, upon hearing this news, moved the team to the facility and has signaled that he's going to get the health minister to kickstart an investigation into why the facility has been abandoned with 4% work to be completed. And so we should expect some action from the health ministry and the minister, Kweku Asomachremi, for that matter, within the coming days. They want to investigate why the facility has been abandoned, how much of the taxpayers' money was pumped into that facility. And I must mention, Ben, is that just few meters away from this abandoned project is the health training center for midwives and nurses facility. It's just few meters drive from this facility that has been abandoned. And just a road is what keeps them, apart. And it has been abandoned. So these nurses, these midwives, they complete school and they have no places to be posted to. So this project, if completed, is going to create jobs. I spoke to one of the DCs within this enclave, and he mentioned that it is a 120-bed capacity facility when completed, and it will create some 500 jobs for health professionals within the area. So abandoning it for God knows what reason is going to be unraveled, once these investigations are done, something which the minister has indicated that he's going to spearhead, even though it doesn't fall within his jurisdiction. From here, tomorrow the minister will be meeting with the EU reps who are also in the country to help preserve Ghana's forests. We talked about sustainable logging. That is one of the key issues that came out yesterday. And so tomorrow, the minister, Asomachremi, will meet with the EU reps again for a joint press conference.
Thank you very much, Lateef Idris, there joining us from the Ashanti region. We'll be following him keenly as he tours the region with the lands minister and bring you updates on that particular tour. Away from that, a mother of a survivor of recent alleged kidnapping incidents in Takoradi has told Joy News her 18-year-old daughter has been left traumatized and mentally unstable since she came back home a day after she was kidnapped. Mama Betty, as we choose to call her, said a day after her daughter went missing, she returned home struggling to speak. The incident, which happened in August last year, is still fresh in the memory of the family as they have been left with a mentally unstable daughter to attend to. The police has come under pressure to locate 7 more other girls who have been abducted since December last year in Takrade. Here's Mama Betty recounting her daughter's experience.
That Wednesday, no, or on the 7th August, na me kaya sorry with baby. To me buy na was say or kwata diaba. And then yen who no na Thursday. And my by 5:30. Oh yes, I met a voice to be what my assume say means abonte. Me pia abonte me defa kwan na me share my banner sir. Oh see bia one way one no men sana wa bo no na me. Rough into me when ya na me kasa wa ya me bani bibi na me hu so much and me left and right.
On the 7th of August 2018, my daughter told me she was going to get some items. She never returned home that day. We searched for her, but it didn't yield any results. The following day, I stepped out of my room and found my daughter with parts of her hair cut out and looking like a drunkard. She couldn't talk. After several attempts, we gave her a paper to put down her thoughts. It was at that point that she narrated everything that happened, including seeing a huge snake with 2 heads. At the beginning, it wasn't easy. She was scared of stepping out of the house. Sometimes, she begins to shake uncontrollably and miss screams. Though she is better now, she is struggling to speak. She speaks as though she is now learning a new language. Indeed, I heard on the news that they have arrested someone in connection with the kidnapping. I was very happy, and I hope all the families find their children because it is not easy. Even though nobody demanded money from me, I think the police must be up to the task and bring the perpetrators to book.
Your friend in foreign, you be no old tree. Tejan, you go son kaka krama. Tibaya last week, I met say, Omo kaka. So much kidnapping be no ya Nigerian in Amsa. I didn't know for now. Na me pai bwana say about my parents nkwara watch someone no. Nyame wo nkwankwa dem ba o ye mame no. Onye nkwara no so wa wo fo sa on fa nkwara na mbra. Amwa wo fa woni bi jinjina kwa me manya na yankafa. Sa dia me di wo beto no to baby mami. Me kwa me kafa ma dia me gusu aka na ma aboso. Nyame adom. Yanena kasa who say, Wawana me pesa me be son sending pong on kai because on nim said be simple, across so an bread boom.
You heard the mother of one of the girls who was allegedly kidnapped in Sekondi Takrade. We are yet to receive any updates from the police. Meanwhile, there have been calls for the police to intensify their search for the girls. Residents of More in the Ifijakwabre South District of the Ashanti region say their lives are in danger from the persistent blast of rocks by a quarry operating in the area. In the latest explosion on Friday, slabs of flying rocks hit and entered homes as far as to some people's bedrooms, causing damage to buildings and other property. The development has left residents in fear, as some of them who fled the scene are reluctant to return, while others are calling for relocation and compensation. Nanasa and Sumensa visited the community to interact with victims.
Though no casualties were recorded, visible and deep cracks and holes left in walls are enough evidence to show the magnitude of the blast. The development has left residents in fear as their homes literally become disaster-prone. Retired educationist and school proprietor Asiedwe Champon explains how the quarry operation has affected life over the years.
It's affecting the school daily. Because we are going to the danger post to the children. As I showed you, if by grace they are not passed to the coop, the hen coop, it will have hit some of the children. And therefore, even some parents are reluctant to bring their children. And therefore, we ought to see proper way of doing their work.
Life and property are obviously at risk, and people live in uncertainty about when the next blast will take place and the extent of damage.
In the house, I want to buy a drug. When I returned from the town, I heard that this is what has happened in my house. So I rushed home, and this is what I found. Send me fear glass now. I bought me pillar we are directed by inside. I really thank God that I wasn't here. In fact, I wouldn't know what had happened to me. Into the LCN, the government no support. Sebastian be free and some baby my what is really going to happen to us. We said, we have papers, we have documents that we are here. And the king knows.
A boon chance, a twin chance in Uladam, no bussy in Agum, Ubabana, yes, Johnny, away now with Dimirica.
The rocks often blast, destroying our homes and properties. Our lives are at risk. The workers turn a blind eye to our plea. We are afraid for our lives. We are pleading with the government to come to our aid or to put a stop to these workers.
So Timi Emomunya Boni Jadia, yes, Romo. Omuncha Dine Kana baby, I ever call Sibeko Lomako, I am Congo. Yes, Rom.
Afija Quarry South District Chief Executive Christian Adupoku has no specific remedial action except to admonish quarry companies to ensure sustainable operation.
When this happened, because we didn't want the people to, because out of anger to attack them, we asked them to close the quarry down. Not until they are finished repairing all the damages, they were not supposed to work. And we are liaising with the Mineral Commission as well as the EPA to come out with a standard with which each of these quarries should blast. I think they have standards. But these people, out of, should I say, zeal or the fact that they want to get more stones at a time, they blast it more than the required standard.
Nana Asensumensa reporting.
You're watching Joe News Today with me, Bernice Abubedulansa. Still to come, the Minister for Roads and Highways refutes claims by the minority that government has failed to pay road contractors under the guise of conducting an audit. We've got details after these messages to stay. Hi there, thanks for staying here on Joe News Today. The Minister for Roads and Highways has refuted claims by the minority in Parliament that government has failed to pay road contractors under the guise of conducting an audit. Addressing journalists at the Meet the Press series in Accra, Mr. Kwesi Amoakwata noted that government in 2018 released an amount of 3.58 billion cedis for the settlement of debt in the road sector, out of which an amount of 1.9 billion cedis went into the payment of contractors. Ernest Menu attended that press conference and joins us on phone with more. Hello, Ernest.
Hi, Bernice.
We understand that the minister has also been given some timelines for fixing more functioning traffic lights in the country. Give us more details on that.
Absolutely, Bernice. You know that we have done a number of stories, John Youth Agenda, focusing on a number of malfunctioning street lights. A number of the times when we put out the stories, they are fixed, and in just about a month, the situation is back to as we reported it. This time, the minister says latest by June, we should have all malfunctioning street lights, traffic lights, I beg your pardon, working. And that's because the ministry and the Department of Urban Roads is currently constructing a traffic management center that will help deal with the situation. And what is going to happen is that once there is a problem, there is a fault, or the traffic light goes off, the signal is sent to the center, and men will be deployed quickly to the scene or to the very point where we have these traffic lights not functioning. And so he's saying that we should hold him to his word. If by June this is done and he's still at the ministry, we can call for his head. And in the last few minutes, he's been talking about how they want to deal with hawkers and hawkers or women selling on the street, taking over pedestrian walkways. He believes that these are all things that the ministry this year will be dealing with.
Ernest, you did mention that we've done a couple of stories about malfunctioning street lights, and we've recorded some accidents and knockdowns as a result of these. Did the minister say why we would have to wait till June to have these street lights or traffic lights, I beg your pardon, fixed?
Well, he says that the construction is underway. So the Department of Urban Roads is leading in this aspect. They are constructing the center, which he claims is 61% complete. And per schedule, is supposed to be done, completed 100% by June this year. And so he's been asking that we are patient with the Department of Urban Roads to deal with this, because they are dealing with technology, to have the necessary technology fixed so that they can coordinate the various centers as far as traffic lights are concerned, and then we can hold them to account.
Thank you very much, Ernest Kojo Menu, in attendance at that Meet the Press series with Roads Minister, giving us some updates from that event. Away from that, the Ghana Library Authority is calling for support to strengthen the country's library system. Speaking to Joy News on the state of the country's library, Executive Director of the Ghana Library Authority, Hayford Siaung, painted a hopeless picture of the existing system. According to him, Get Fund must assist the Library Authority to enable it promote reading habits among the populace.
The concept of Ghanaians not reading has been with us for many years. And in 1960, they did a research to find out why Ghanaians are not reading. And they came out to the fact that we don't have a proper school library system. Because globally, what happens is that countries have proper school library system. And that is where the lifestyle of reading is picked up. But in Ghana, you and me will agree that our school library system has collapsed. So what this government has decided to do is that we've set up a program called the School Library Transformation Program. Because in the 1960s, out of that research, a new department was set up here called the Schools and College Department. And the mandate was to provide technical assistance and set up of school libraries around the country. But it has existed in name, but not in function for the past 30 years. And so what we have done, and ministry have released funds and there are renovation works going on, is to establish a new school library department that will be providing this technical assistance to support, the school libraries. Now, when the school libraries are in shape, the teachers then have, the opportunity to be able to recommend books for the children, and then you build that culture. If we don't build that culture in our schools, trust me, we can continue to do everything, but that culture will still continue to remain the same. So once we're able to settle on that, then of course parents have a role of setting up home libraries also to supplement whatever interventions that are happening in the school. And then the public library system. The interesting and the good thing is that a lot of district assemblies have set up libraries without consulting the Ghana Library. NGOs have set up libraries without consulting the Ghana Library Authority. So they are managed by unprofessional people and volunteers. So what happens is that after 1-2 years, these libraries collapse. And so this year, as part of the Year of Reading strategy, is to absorb some of these libraries.
Now, traveling or fishing by canoe on the Sine River in the Bono East region is increasingly becoming a risky venture due to accidents caused by tree stumps. At least 4 fatal accidents, which hardly leave survivors, occur every year on the water body, which is the only form of transportation to and from each side of the river. Ohiming Teria traveled to the Sine East district and spoke to political authorities and other stakeholders.
Residents rely on rickety boats and canoes for fishing and traveling about 80 kilometers on the river to access each side of the river. Sene River connects residents of Achemade Bator and over 50 communities in Sene West, KGG in the Sene East district in the Bono Ahafo region, as well as Krachi in Chumuno district in the Volta region. Sene West District Assembly says about 7,000 residents are employed directly or indirectly in fishing alone. Over 250,000 people travel on the River Sene annually. Thousands of tree stumps in the river make fishing and transportation dangerous. The attendant boat accidents have been alarming in recent times. 5 accidents were recorded on the river in 2018 alone. A number of other tragic incidents have gone unreported. In the last incident, for instance, 23 people, mostly traders, were killed when the boat they were traveling on capsized after hitting a tree stump. A fisherman, Samuel Rodeme, recounts how he nearly lost his life on the river.
It's very dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. But we have no option. So that is what we have to do. So we want to appeal to the government to get us some machines that we can use on the river for our safety. I had an accident on the river, but it's God who, proceed. If not so, I would have died in the river.
Senate East District Chief Executive John Nyaba warns the Ministry of Transport and Fisheries to intervene to curb the accidents. He is worried at the alarming rate, especially in the dry season, where visibility is poor.
We communicate with the ministry so that the ministry will come to their aid with providing tools and equipments, especially the boats, so that they will be able to use it. Some of the boats that they are using here is old ones. They are not worthy of. They are not ready to use it on the river. Yearly, at times, we normally record 3 times a year, at times 4. And it is sometimes fatal. It happens, and at times all the people in the boat died.
From Sydney East District in the Bono Ahafo region for Joy News, Ohimenteria reports.
You're watching Joy News today. The Bono East District actually falls within the proposed the Sydney East District actually falls within the proposed Bono East region. And coming up in business, decline in power demand from National Grid threatens sustainability of power producers. Emmanuel Abuajiri is standing by with details. Do stay.